I'm the scat man. Yo, do, do, do. Skimmy, dimmy, ding, yo, do, do, do. Yo, do, do, ba, 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 dee, ba, 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 do. Ba, 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 do. Wee, ba, 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 do.
Hey now,
Semifinal Friday. That's how we roll because it's time to go for gold. Are we still disappointed? Like finishing off in the final 8 would have been a disaster. And I don't know how you handled the other day, Wednesday. I mean, just think of the hockey we've seen, Carlo, over the last little while. It seems like no one can close out a game, and 1 goal, 2 goal leads in the third just aren't. Is that just indicative of best on best and the motivation that people have to put everything on the line and to maybe play more hockey?
look, the hockey's been incredible. I mean, especially in the quarterfinals where you saw 3 games go into overtime. And I think what we're appreciating now is the magnitude of these games that the players are playing in, right? I mean, you could have a massive favorite like Canada be as dominant as they've looked all tournament, but in one game, you can get the best game out of every Czech player and make it close and really, have Canada on the brink of elimination. And that's the beauty of these games with this competition is just that, as much as you may be a big favorite with the crowd, with the emotions, with the adrenaline, with the tension, the nerves, like you name it. I mean, you could see in Canada going into that third period, tied 2-2. It's like, whoa, hold on a second. We should be winning this game. And instead, next thing you know, you give up the 3-2 goal. And I can imagine not just myself and you, but a lot of people are thinking, oh my God, is this really going to happen? And credit to Nick Suzuki for scoring a big goal, and then Mitch Marner for scoring the biggest goal of the tournament so far.
You imagine just being a fly on the wall on a Sid talk between the second and third period, knowing he's not going to be back in that game?
I remember reading your tweet saying, we got to know what was said.
Oh, for sure. But more hockey for Sid. He is out. That's the big thing. If I was a betting man, which I obviously am, again, puck props presented by Bet99, I would have said that Sid was not going to play this game. I thought maybe there's a probability that he plays a gold medal game, but this one, I think we were 90% sure that he wasn't going to play. I know he skated. Obviously, that's a big deal, but we do have some line shifts, and I kind of like them.
No,
all of a sudden,
really like them. Not you got
McDavid. You got McDavid wearing the C, and it's been incredible. He's been the story of the entire tournament, and it's not just like, oh, let's talk about the best player. No, the best player has been heads and shoulders above every other player in the entire tournament. I don't know if we've professionally will ever see someone at this level play at the level that McDavid's playing. Then you got Bo Horvat, Nathan McKinnon, and Seth Jarvis. That's sexy, right? All of a sudden you get Bo Horvat doing the Suzuki thing where he was at center. Now he's got to go, but he's mingled in that bottom 4 wing center. So that's not a bad move. And you put Suzuki back at natural center. He played great. And that cameraman almost killed him. Did you see that?
I know. How did he open the door at the exact same time Suzuki was skating backwards into it?
How dumb is that human being to open the door that early when everybody's coming to that spot?
Well, now, I mean, you can't blame him. It's his job to open the door and get the camera on the ice, right?
Yeah, have some spatial awareness. Now I'm getting roasted in the comments here for my plays, which is fine. I haven't had a great tournament. I'll be the first person to tell you that. Let's get the plays out. Then let's get to one breakdown from the defensive 14-year NHL vet and Carlo Koliakovo from last game where the Czechs did have 6 players on the ice, 8 to celebrate. And then let's bring in Aaron Korolnik and go across the board. Plays in first. Throw it up, Mick. I'll run it by. The first one we got McDavid for 2 assists plus 185. He's hit this in every game. He's in God mode. He's had 7 shots, but we know my track record with assists. I have him for 2 assists. Guess what? He'll probably score 2 goals.
He scored 2 goals.
He scored 2 goals today, and he's probably due. He had 7 shots last game, no goals, but we're going to see that bench get short. Trying to find any other skater on the team last game, Carlo, that had 16 plus minutes as a forward was really hard to find. Let's go to the over because no one understands. Oh, it's going to be a tight game with the Finns. To me, I still see this game as very great offenses playing Binnington and Saros, who are in like the bottom 15 in goals saved above expected in hockey. I know everything changed. I know Binnington's a big save guy, but outside of that, there hasn't been a ton to like about the Canadian communication on defense, and we're going to get to that. I think this could be another spot where both teams score 2, 4-2 finish, or we could see a tying 3-3 game in the other spot. We keep rolling with another play that I got. We got Nick Suzuki. I've been very hard on Nick Suzuki, but guess what? I like odds and I like prices better than I like anything else. And I'll ask Aaron Kronik, who's another big better like myself, where do you see yourselves in games like this where we kind of don't cheer for teams anymore, but this is one of the few chances that we do? Can you bet on the other side? So we'll bring that up in a bit. But Nick Suzuki plus 450, easy spot between Stone and Marner. The guy, that tip was incredible, like Joe Pavelski-esque. And then I do have one more play, and this is my favorite way to get plus 375 or better in this game. So I'm going to go under that game. First off, let's go to the boost, and then we'll get to the USA game after. That the 5.5 there is easy. I think they're just one of the best defensive teams in the tournament. Defensive-wise, the best skating team. And Connor Hellebuck for MVP is something we're going to talk about. But this one, you get Marner for the apple. You get Suzuki for the point playing together, and we lock that in. And then Canada just money line, 425. You know how hard it is to get plus money on the Canadian teams?
Yeah, it's true. Because of their
massive favorites.
Their handicap, yeah, for sure.
All right, now before we get to AK, we'll bring in this. Here's frame one. Now, the Thomas Harley shot was awful, right? You go low to high, the shot was not needed, it was blocked, and it goes the other way. Nick Suzuki feeds the low to high pass, and then he comes up. That's why he's the first man back. Obviously, a very responsible defensive center. Now, here it is. I'm screaming. I don't see the third check guy come into the frame, but someone needs to take the puck, and Nick Suzuki wasn't at an angle to get it. Doughty looks like the guy. You see Doughty there, Carlo, with him pointing to the trailer there. Is he telling him that that's my guy? Is he telling him, you go get that guy? And how do you see how this probably should have been broken down?
So normally as a defenseman, when you put your hand up like that, you're directing the player to go to that spot, right? I would imagine that's what he's telling Suzuki to do. But then, are we playing this, or are we just showing?
No. And then my next frame, if you go to the next frame,
right?
No one made a decision,
right? And they're actually in a great spot right now because Doughty is protecting the middle of the ice. Natchez doesn't have much of an angle towards the net. Suzuki's stick should be turned over. But he doesn't know that there's a guy trailing behind him, right? Yeah. He's playing this as a 2-on-2. So his stick is actually in the right spot. His body's in the right spot. I just think this is an incredible heads-up play by Natchez, who...
Is Natchez on the far side?
This is Natchez carrying the puck right now.
Oh, okay.
98, right? It's an incredible heads-up play by him to even recognize, and I'm not sure if there was any... if there was anybody sharing any audio on this play of or using their communication. Is Palat beaver tailing it? Is he saying, hey, Marty? We don't know that, right? I would imagine that there was probably some sort of communication on this play, because for him to drop it back, that's the right play. That's the only play that allows you to get a chance on this, unless Marty Natchez makes an incredible shot and beats Binnington one-on-one. But the way I always played it was so Marty Natchez is a good example. He's a right-handed shot coming down the right side. As a defenseman, when you have a guy in that position with the puck, that's the goalie's man, because he's only got one thing, and that's to shoot. When he's coming on his offside, if he's coming down Natchez's side and he's a lefty, then you want the defenseman to play closer to the near post and force him to make a sauce pass, or force him to go to his backhand and then throw a backhand across the crease, and then maybe the goaltender can get a stick out and intercept the pass. So there's a certain strategy based on which way the guy shoots. At least the way I played it as a defenseman. Everybody's different, but that's normally a level of communication. But in that freeze frame there, Canada's players are actually in the right position.
But it didn't look like that on the communication at the blue line. And then that third guy does jump in there and give the Czechs, the forward group there, some credit.
Well, I would imagine
their spacing
Doughty
offensively was perfect.
Yeah, I would imagine Doughty's message was, hey, keep an eye on that guy, because if I come and force Natchez, you got to get to the middle of the ice. Yeah. And then the forward, you're reading off the defenseman. He's like, okay, you know what? I don't really need to be that aggressive. I'm just going to be safe and cover the middle of the ice. And then Suzuki reads off of him.
Yeah, and Doughty didn't really make a move either way, right? So
no, and he didn't need to.
No,
right?
Suzuki
it was just
in a good spot.
A great play by Natchez, and even better shot by Palat to beat Binnington there.
Oh, God, what a game that was, up and down. Plays are on the bottom. Let's get to it. A man who you have already spent way too much time with this week.
Can't
Isn't
get
it
away
like
from this
the
guy,
end
man.
of Friday? Oh, covers gear too.
I cannot get away from this guy.
I cracked it out of the closet, boys, just for you. It's great to be with you. Thank you for having me. Long overdue to have some good looks and intelligence.
Look how he takes over the host.
I know. We didn't even. It's like I'm taking over. Didn't even wait for an introduction.
Oh, what a
gem.
Didn't
wait for
one of my
answer a question that we asked him.
All around. If you don't know, also Carlos co-host. Well, we'll call him a host. He's the host. He's that's what he has on his Twitter feed. TSN first up in the morning. Just a big dog over there at TSN, and a man who doesn't have to work tomorrow. And a man who could get into it today, 10:40. Mr. Kronik, thanks for having you on. Two things right off the top. What scares you about Finland today? And what scares you about the Canadian team to maybe lose one?
Oh, a lot scares me about Finland. And I know Mark Carney's a huge fan of puck props, fellas, and I'm sure he's listening. I hope he doesn't strip my citizenship when he hears some of the takes I have on this game, because there's a lot of pro-Finland stuff here, because that's where all the value is. You're talking about getting Mikko Rantanen and Sebastian Aho plus money to record a point in a game in which Jordan Binnington is the opposing goaltender. No-brainer. Absolute no-brainer there. I got a lot of Finland action. Now, I'm not that much of a Benedict Arnold, you could call me, where I'm going to bet Finland outright, but I'm holding Finland plus 2.5 goals, minus 140, plus a goal and a half, plus 140. Now, I couldn't take Finland to win this game because I am a Canadian. I do love our country. I do love our hockey team. But when you're talking about the value in this game, it is unquestionably betting Finland props.
All right, Carlo, what's your take about a Canadian taking sides on the Finns in terms of props?
Well, hey, he's got no skin in the game, right? And I think as a bettor, you can't bet with your emotions. So for him and for you, Josh, you know, something I've learned doing this show and betting hockey with you is you can't bet with your heart. You got to bet with your mind. You got to find the value. And you guys are absolutely right. The value here is everything Finland, because again, Crosby's not in. There's a couple of guys that are banged up. You know, the underdog in this situation is the Finns, and they've got no pressure, nothing to lose. If anything, Canada's got everything to lose in this. So if you're a betting guy, you're going to find the betting angle in this instead of the emotional angle in this.
Just a quick story. Back in 2010, when I was in university.
We brought on James Duffy here about,
So I had a future bet on the U.S. to win gold. And again, I had no money. I was spending all my money at the Seeps and the Barking Frog up in London, Ontario. And when Zach Parise scored, I'm like doing a little fist pump underneath the couch as all my friends are jumping on. I think I was probably winning like $200 at the time, but for me back in those days, that was a huge score. So it is not the case this time. Again, you're right, Coco. I mean, it's the head versus the heart when you're talking about this. And the head would have you looking at, again, Rantanen, who's going to play 24 minutes tonight. Aho's playing probably the same PP1. Those guys are going to be out there the entire game. Plus money to get points. You're talking about 2-1 for assists on those guys. It's a total no-brainer. Now, as far as the Canadian side, and Jingles, I'm sure you had the same thing when the line combinations came out. McKinnon playing with Jarvis and Bo Horvat. You're running to your books. You're like, all right, where can I find the Jarvis to score, Horvat to score? and a lot of the money, like you could still find some decent stuff. Like I've got Jarvis, 2 assists, 19-1. I'll take that all day. I think he's playing 15 minutes. I think he's playing 15 minutes alongside Nathan McKinnon. But I think for me, my favorite play with Canada is Celebrini to record an assist, minus 120. Top line, he's playing 22 minutes today. Top line with McDavid. He's playing PP1 in Crosby's spot. Like, I don't see a world in which Celebrini's not a huge part of the offensive output for Canada. I think that's probably where you're finding the best value. Celebrini at a point, you're talking minus 300, minus 350, but an assist, it's a lot. It's pretty palatable, and I think that's a very fair price, and certainly something I have in pocket.
So to put things into perspective about how this is being priced versus how we were at the Four Nations, I think I got Connor McDavid close to even money or something around there, maybe minus 130 for over 2.5 shots.
What?
Yeah, no, but that's what it was. It was like they were like 25 shots. Like, and now I think Canada hasn't been held under like 36 shots in any game. And now you see Connor McDavid's shot prop is at like 6. Like,
Wow.
it's getting crazy, and they're one-way markets, and it's really tough to find value. Someone like Arturi Lehkonen, who got the game-winning goal playing on that line with Aho, I think he's like 8-1 for 2 points, something like that. There is some value there, but when you're looking at the tax, the Canada Pro tax, implied probability, Aaron, 75%. Do you think Canada really wins 75 of 100 of these matchups?
I don't know. That seems like a stretch to me. Finland's a damn good team. And the big difference between Finland and Czechia, who we just saw play Canada, is the strength down the middle. Hintz, Aho, Lundell, dramatically different from a Czech team that had David Kamp as its number 2 centerman behind Thomas Hurdle. So,
and he didn't look bad.
No, he didn't look bad. And again, I think another big difference between the Czechs and the Finns is that Miro Heiskanen's back there for Finland today. He's playing 30 minutes. And
Lindell. You'll see every other shift. They'll play every other shift.
So those guys will be out there every time McDavid and Celebrini and eventually Nathan McKinnon take the ice. So again, when you're talking about value and making astute wagers, which is what you guys do on the show every single time you put out content, the value is with Finland. But if you want to bet the Canada stuff, which everybody does, you got to pick your spots, right?
Well,
and I think you get assists, right? Again, Marner and Stone plus money to record assists, Nick Suzuki plus money to get a point. I think you have to look at those as opposed to the guys higher up in the lineup who are priced out.
Well, Wayne in the chat just gave a nice little same game parlay. Celebrini point with Canada win.
So yeah, Canada win in regulation. I think like bettors are just trying to find ways to get to even money.
Yeah.
To turn their 25 into another 25 or something, right? We can't be winning $200 back in our college days and going to Molly Bloom's and spending it all on Irish car bomb.
Nice spot.
It was a great spot. And then go over to Wendy's for some JBCs after.
Ooh,
Those are the days,
nice.
buddy. Those are the days.
They were the days. But again, it's going to be another sweaty game. It is interesting. Like you touched on it. It is a game of Jordan Binnington versus UC Saros and some great offenses. Another 3, like a 5-3 game wouldn't really confuse me. Canada played some really high scoring games, obviously, in the Four Nations before that. But at the end of the day, it is Saros, it is Binnington. And as much as we want to love Binnington, he's made big saves defensively. Like I wouldn't be out there betting Finland under 1.5.
No, and a name we haven't mentioned so far is Josh Morrissey, another guy who's out today. So that's another hit for Canada defensively. Crosby's essentially their checking line centerman. I think Nick Suzuki's one of the best in the business, but not Sidney Crosby. And again, you look at the ice time for Canada against the Czechs. Brandon Hagel played almost 16 minutes in that hockey game.
The lower third of forwards is like it's like 9 minutes, 10 minutes. You're like, where's the 15 to 16s?
Yes, that's what you're looking for in this game. And I think you'll see the 15 to 16s on the third line with Suzuki, Stone, and Marner. I think you'll see 13-ish for guys like Jarvis and Horvat.
Maybe
alongside McKinnon. That's probably a safe bet. In the fourth line, I mean, we saw Brad Marchand play 7 minutes against the Czechs. We saw Reinhardt, who's the 13th forward, play 9 minutes. So I don't know what you could really expect from that. And again, the same applies to Finland, where their top 5 forwards, Granlund, Hintz, Rantanen, Lehkonen, and Aho, all played over 18 minutes. Those are the guys who get the most run for Finland, who get a bunch of the power play time as well. So you're looking at a select group of players, I think, for both sides, who are going to get the vast majority of the ice time.
Carlo, your buddy Ollie Kapanen's coming in here. What can we expect
from Montreal?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I mean, he might only see 9 to 10 minutes, but
who's he coming in for?
Oh, jeepers! Somebody with the last name that ends in EN, I would assume. I guess.
Look, I mean, what do we expect? He's a kid that's going to bring some young energy. He's got a scoring touch. He kills penalties. Maybe they're just looking for a little bit of a spark from somebody like him who's younger and more energetic and probably, embracing this moment versus a guy that's probably hasn't done much for Finland. Tolvanen was the guy.
Yes. Told you I win. EN. We win there. Yeah. But there are some big scoring prices. And I know you crapped on me the other day when we were texting AK about like Devin Taves for like something like 16-1. He's just on the ice for 24 minutes.
True.
And you don't get that with some guys who do scare me. Colton Parayko really scares me in his own end sometimes, like along the wall, making that first outlet pass, that first exit. There are some concerns with the blue line, and I think both of you guys were talking about Matthew Schaefer would look very good on this team today because you see someone like Quinn Hughes just absolutely skate and create, especially when you get 3-on-3. Like imagine that McDavid, McKinnon, Schaefer 3-on-3.
I still can't believe they didn't take him, but
okay, let's go to U.S. game. And at the end of the day, before we get to that, do you have a hot take in terms of 3-on-3? Either of you?
I mean, I do. I mean, it's exciting to watch, but I mean, we watched the women's game yesterday go to overtime in the gold medal game, and it was decided with 3-on-3.
Today's shootout too, right? You know that, right? Today's still semifinal.
Yeah, today's 10 minute and then 10-minute 3-on-3 and then shootout. I'm not a believer that a game of this magnitude should ever finish with hockey that's not considered hockey. Like 3-on-3 is not considered hockey. It's shinny is what it is. And maybe that's why a guy like Mitch Marner thrives in those moments, right? With the goals that he scored.
You're spot on. And I do think if you're a Canadian, you should be thankful that there's 3-on-3 because no one is putting out McDavid, McKinnon, and Makar like Canada is, and Marner and Celebrini. I mean, it's a ridiculous embarrassment of riches that Canada has at 3-on-3. So for Canada, it's great. For everybody else, Finland's version of first up is probably like, what is this 3-on-3 nonsense? Or Czechia, their version of first up, probably not overly enthused. But I think if you're a Canadian hockey fan, which we all are, 3-on-3 is good for Canada. I think they have a better chance than anybody else when 3-on-3 begins because
with
simply
the talent,
most talented players. Yeah.
So looking in the value train of something like that, game to go to overtime, last goal scorer, McDavid turns like a plus 400 into like a 35 to 40 to 1 when you probably put the probability of him like being in charge of that goal or setting up that goal or creating a goal for Canada at what? Better than 50% of Canada scores that he's there?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he scored in the Four Nations in overtime.
The McDavid price is not priced into last.
And look, Four Nations was 5-on-5 in overtime. Yeah. Right. Now, the tricky part about a semifinal going 5-on-5 is you've got another game to play, right?
And that's all they're worried about.
And schedule-wise and building, operations, you got people that buy tickets for both games, for different games. You got to leave yourself enough time to, allow those situations to play out. So I get it, but for gold medal, no, shouldn't happen.
Connor Hellebuyck, 5-1 currently for MVP. U.S. minus 2.5, Slovakia plus 500. I'm on the under 5.5. I just think this is one of the best defending teams in all of hockey. They did it fantastically yesterday. Obviously gave up one late, but this is a team that's got Connor Hellebuyck back on track, one goal in each game. Slovakia might be the easiest team, obviously, in these Final Four to shut down defensively. USA gets last change. That's a big thing. Sweden only had 29 shots last game versus US. And that doesn't sound like a minuscule number, but in these tournaments where teams are getting 45 shots, that really is something. And their defense is maybe the best skating defense in the entirety of it. If you want to hedge out of your Canadian options here, if you want to work the other way, Aaron, 5-1, he's the only one that can win it. You got to shut down Canada, and if he does so,
only one that can win it. I mean, there's a man
outside of McDavid.
I disagree with that. I think Quinn Hughes could absolutely win.
Ooh, okay, but he's going to need another game-winning goal.
He played 27 minutes. The guy is a horse. He is arguably, maybe inarguably, the second best defenseman. He's going to need points. Yes, for sure. Matthews has a bunch of points as well. Like, yeah, I think Hellebuck is probably the most likely American, but you could certainly make a case for Matthews and Hughes as well. I think even Jack Eichel, who's played more ice than anybody else up front for the Americans in this tournament. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. If Matthews is a big performance in the semifinals, the gold medal game, he could win tournament MVP. And Quinn Hughes, he's out there playing close to 30 minutes and producing offense. And again, the stifling defense of the Americans is their trademark. Hughes is a big part of it. I think it's a 3-man race for the Americans. I think you could probably make a case for any 3 of those guys, Hellebuck, Matthews, and Hughes.
I did look into who votes for it. It is very strange in terms of like the IHF director. Like it's a really strange group.
We have an email for these guys. Maybe we could reach out and
I know. Like those are the things you have to look at as a bettor and find out like when are they placing the bets? Like, do they have to send in the bets, their votes like after the second period? Because there is a time lapse in terms of how it goes. But if we get to what we want on Sunday morning, Canada, US, it was a pick 'em at 4 nations, but I do believe Team USA did have last change, beating the higher seed. Should Canada be the favorite with Crosby out? Carlo?
No.
Okay.
No, I think it might be the only game in the tournament if they play each other where we might see an even pick 'em type of game. Right, because you can't just factor in the Crosby factor. You got to factor in the injury factor, right? I mean, there's players that are on Canada that are clearly ailing, right? Morrissey's still not playing. Bennett wasn't 100%. McKinnon's not 100%. So you have to factor that in. And I think if you go to the previous matchup, like even the way they played at the 4 Nations, they were 2 evenly matched teams. So, I would not put Canada as the favorite in that.
Yeah, it'll be essentially a pick. Maybe one team is minus 120, depending on how it shakes out today. But you're talking about extremely slim margins. I think it's safe to say the Americans are better defensively. Canada's better up front. Goaltender, who knows? Do you get big game Binnington? Do you get big game Hellebuck, where traditionally he wilts in those big moments? You're talking about what is going to be, hopefully, for everybody involved, a titanic clash of 2 incredible hockey teams, and hopefully we get it. Jingles, you coming downtown on Sunday morning to have some drinks with me to watch the game?
Old Uncle Josh got himself in a wee bit of trouble in the household after the Friday. So
no way.
Yeah, Josh is trying to play it cool and get everybody on his good side again. Yeah, the long weekends. Yeah. Oh, Friday is early, and you had the long weekend ahead of us. It was a great day. Someone did say teams usually play hard in the first period, then they fall off. I don't think it's that they fall off. And we did see it in the finals of the 4 Nations. You saw early scoring first period. I think both teams scored. Both teams scored in the second period. And then essentially no one giving up anything in the third period. So maybe not bad live underlooks if you see early scoring in both games and things kind of shut down. But we got 10 minutes to puck drop. I know you got to change out of that, get into your fancy clothes.
I'm wearing this all night. I'm hitting the bars on the ladies like cover swag. Trust me.
You'll be right on the streets of Toronto very soon, I would imagine. Just like Uncle Carlo too, right? Sorry, fam. I'm going out. I'm going out today. No?
See you later. Yeah.
Are you? Are you bon voyage in the family?
No, not right now. I'm going to be home. Hopefully the kids or my wife and kids get back home from school. I know my kids are watching in school, and hopefully my wife gets back from school in time to watch the game together.
Sorry, go ahead.
I might go to a local pub if I find out some of my buddies are there. Ooh. But I have every intention just to stay home and watch it.
One more story.
He's getting blackout, Jingles.
Oh, stop it. Don't do it. Don't do it. One more story before we go. I was sweating an under 6.5, 4-2. I think it was, I don't know, the qualifications. I forget what game I bet on all of them, so it doesn't matter. Like it's final minute, goalies pulled. Things are
the worst.
The kids' school calls, right? They call me in the middle of it. They're like, your son got hit in the face playing soccer at recess. And I'm like the least interested person in it. Watching the game, and I'm like, is he okay? Yeah. Did you check him for concussions? No. Okay, I'll see him when he gets home. And it was like the fastest conversation to finally watch. So,
Father of the Year, Josh Inglis. Everybody knows
it.
Hey, buses were canceled the other day, and I kept them home. That is Father of the Year.
Oh, I know that because we heard him on the stream.
Yeah. The loudest kid in the world. Hey, let's have a great run. Let's see something on Sunday, and let's play with the lead. Let's not lose the lead today. Playing from behind may be the most sweaty thing we've ever seen for Canadian hockey fans. And if Finland wins and they beat us up, blame Aaron Korolnik because he bet most of his count on it.
Easy thing to do. It's AK's fault all the time.
Always blame me. Always blame Aaron.
I appreciate you guys as always. Picks are there. Post them. Enjoy today's hockey. It's some of the best we've seen in the last decade for sure. Josh Inglis, Carlo Koliakovo, Aaron Korolnik. Puck Props presented by Bet99 covers. Lead us out, gentlemen.
All right. Semifinal Friday. Enjoy it. Ciao.
Yeah, man. Yo, do, do, do. Skimmity, yo, do, do, do.